All right, first and foremost, give all praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Thumb, and giving sincere greeting to the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners, teaching this word with sincerity and charity. I'm Brother Phineas, Prince of Power Israelites. Short lesson, short discussion. What we're pretty much doing is just revealing some information, throwing some things out there to see what you think about this. And I came about this because I just seen this post, and it vexed my spirit a little bit about the word ruddy. All right, about the word ruddy. Okay, we got to come into this thing. We have to get to the bottom of the matter. All right, and it's two or three different ideologies dealing with the ruddy. All right, we say Esau is ruddy, meaning red. And this is how we conclude that he is the Caucasian. He is the white man. Okay, and then when somebody comes with that and say, okay, well, if that's the white man and that means red, it means ruddy, then when we go to 1 Samuel 17, we look at David being called ruddy. When we decoded that, we say, okay, well, that means reddish brown, or that means he's beautiful, or of a fair countenance. All right. And so in one point we'll say it means red, and another point we say it means beautiful. And then if you play that game with them, like I say, it's going to be stagnant. You're not going to get down to the bottom of the matter, and they still going to go home believing what they believe. We still going to come back, and we going to believe what we going to believe. And then they going to use it to say, well, if David was red, they're going to play on their ideology. They're going to say, well, if David was reddish brown, and that's what ruddy means, then Esau was reddish brown, and that's why he's the Arab. Okay? And then if you play okay with Esau was red and he's the white man, then David was ruddy and red, and he is the white man. He is the Caucasian. Okay, so I'm here to throw in another angle. Okay, I'm here to throw in another angle that I've seen within the text, that I've ran across through the Spirit, and just that the Most High, has shown me. Not just me, but I've seen it. I searched the matter out. A couple people hinted it. You go and watch videos. You search into certain things. A couple things hit here, hit there, and you go into this dark alley and you trying to research this information. You up hours going through this thing, looking it over, going back and back. Does this mean this? That? And we here. All right, so I've dissected this thing and tried to bring this thing to you under 20 minutes, and so we're gonna dive right in. Okay. Well, first, let's just watch a couple clips. Shalakia. First, let's just watch a couple clips to confirm. All right, this is not a shot at any of these camps. All right, we love these brothers. We've learned from these brothers, and we just giving you the ideology amongst Israel. All right, this is the consensus amongst Israel. Most Israel agrees either one way or the other. Okay, this ain't a shot to say, oh well, these jokers got it wrong and all that stuff. Man, we trying to learn. All right, we're trying to learn. We're trying to get edification. We're trying to get down and become better vessels for the Most High. And, be able to digest the word and make it applicable and make it more, break it down to its finest point where we can make it easy and digestible for the babes. And make it make sense. Right, and make sure that it's right and exact, and we're attacking this thing at the right angle. All right, so just here's a couple clips of other camps trying to explain the ruddy and what it means. Okay.
Supremacist groups start saying that the Jews are not black because David is ruddy. Okay, which is a lie. They think the word ruddy means red. The word ruddy in this scripture does not mean red. I will show you. Now first, let's read the definition in the Bible dictionary. Go ahead.
Ruddy. A word used to refer to a red or fair complexion.
A red or what?
A red or fair complexion.
A red or fair complexion. What does fair mean in old biblical terms? No.
A healthy, a young,
beautiful
complexion.
Round about the, when did it start? 1700s. Fair stopped meaning beautiful and start meaning white.
This is the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary definition of the word ruddy. A word used to refer to a red or fair complexion.
Okay, so it says a red or fair complexion. But wait, don't we say Esau's red? Don't we say Edom's red, right? What is that talking about? One brother said to me, what did he say, a ham bone Negro? Like, a red bone? He says it means it's a red bone Negro. It's not even that complicated, all right?
I know that's what they call Judah down south as light skin, but that's not what it's talking about.
That's not what it's talking about. He had me dying with that one. I moved over a little. You can move over some. All right? Okay. Go ahead. Read.
In contrast to the dark skin of the Hebrews.
Okay. Who could catch the contradiction in that statement? Go ahead, Quadri.
All hands should be up, man. All hands should be up. Right? Remember, Antonyms is the opposite of what it really is, right? In its own dictionary, they contradict. That's all craftiness. If you don't read and you're not on point, you're gonna be fooled and go to sleep.
Right. So how could David have been so-called white man, right? Oh, you say Esau's red and this is red, and the opposite of ruddy is pale.
What did the Native Americans call the Caucasian man? Pale face.
So a dark Hebrew, according to the scholars, a Hebrew like David, is impossible for him to be that way.
Right. They didn't call him red.
It's a play on words, all right, and that's all that is.
In fact, they call the Native Americans the red man.
Hey, and listen, like I said, if someone's gonna hang their whole faith in these prophecies and everything else that's in the scripture on one confusion like that, then you know that. Remember, the Most High pours the spirit of deep sleep on people.
All right, so like we said, beautiful or reddish brown, or we use in the Bible to say, oh man, well, there's honoring contradicting. But if there's honoring contradicting here, then we got to throw away the zondaring but we use the zondaring to say that Ham is not the progenitor of the dark races, etc., etc. And the crazy part about that is, with IUIC, the two brothers there were ruddy. Like, they were ruddy. You know what I'm saying? The brothers were ruddy, man. Those Northern Kingdom brothers, they were ruddy. And not to say they were Northern Kingdom, maybe they could have been Judah also. But they were some brothers that I would consider to be ruddy. But let's look at it. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 42. It says, when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy and of fair countenance. So you have two different things there. All right. You have two different things there. You have youth, you have complexion, and then you have beauty. Okay. You have three things there. He was youthful and ruddy and beautiful. So we can't say that it means the same thing, and we can't say it means beautiful and red, because beauty and red are in this particular text here. All three of them in this, all three of them are youthful. I think the brother said it was a youthful glow. The General Muhammad said it's a youthful glow, and we can't take that out of that text when it's saying all three of them. In my opinion, what do I know? All right, let's look at 1 Chronicles chapter 2 and verse 13. Okay, and we'll look at the genealogy of Jesse. It says Jesse begat his firstborn Eliab, and Abinadab the second, and Shema the third, and Nathaniel the fourth, and Redidiah the fifth, Ozim the sixth, David the seventh, whose sisters were Zeruiah, and Abigail, and the sons of Zeruiah, and Abishai, and Joab, and Ashael, three. And Abigail bare Amasa, and the father of Amasa was Jethro the Ishmaelite. All right, was Jethro the Israelite and Ishmaelite, and that should have been Ithra the Israelite, and you'll see that in 2 Samuel 17:25, and we finna go there soon. But when I went there to show you that genealogy, David being the seventh, whose sisters were Zeruiah and Abigail, and whose sons of Zeruiah, but just that those sisters there. All right, those sisters. We're going to talk about those sisters there, whose sisters were David the seventh, and whose sisters were Zeruiah and Abigail. All right, let's look at 2 Samuel 17 and 25. It says, and Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son whose name was Athra, an Israelite. And you see that if we see Jethro the Ishmaelite, that should have been Ithra the Israelite. Okay, and if you have a newer translation, if you have a study Bible, or if you have some kind of Bible with a reference Bible that gives you some of the Hebrew corrections, you'll see that actually translated in the KJV reference Bible, and maybe some of the other versions would have corrected that. But there are errors within the text. Also, we've seen that David was the seventh son. We go to 1 Samuel 16 with Samuel is going through Jesse's son. It says 7 of the sons passed by before he went and called Jesse. Went and called David. David would have been the 8th son. So maybe in that genealogy in 1 Chronicles 2:13, where it says David was the 7th, maybe they cut one of the sons out due to maybe one dying or just not having kids, and so the name was lost, the lineage was lost. But whatever the case may be, I just giving you that information just in case somebody throws it at you and tries to discredit the KJV. You'll have some ground to stand on. You're not just slapped in the face with this information. You already have it there, and you'll be prepared to deal with them if they come at you with that. But again, let's go ahead to that 2 Samuel 17:25. Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab. And Amasa was a man's son whose name was Athra, an Israelite, that went into Abigail, watch this, the daughter of Nahash, sister to Zeruiah, Joab's mother. All right, so we see that the Abigail and Zeruiah again here, who's were David's sisters, but we see here they are the daughter of Nahash. They are the daughter of Nahash. Now Nahash, if you look that word up, it's used for a male. All right, the word actually means serpent, which lets you know that maybe something evil is going on here. All right, so we see that that these daughters, they may have a different father. They may have a different father, and David is maybe that may be half sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like David may be kin to them through their mother. All right, through their mother. And that's the angle I'm trying to give you, that David may have had a different mother than the rest of his brothers, being he's the youngest. Jesse might have got up of age and went and crept out. We don't never get Jesse's wife's name. Might have crept out, may have did some adulterous act. All right, or may have slept with some prostitute or something like that had kid, but this was the daughter of Nahash. Okay, and that would be the angle that I would stand on. This was the daughter of Nahash, being a male. Some people could see it that it could have been another woman. Nahash could have been another woman, but either way it goes, it comes back down to it being another woman, and they still having different fathers. Okay, so that could be what separates David from the rest of the pack, because we'll have to question that. Why is David? These are the questions we should be asking. Why is David the only one that is fair, that has the fair continence and is ruddy? All right, why is that? Why when Samuel came in 1 Samuel 16, go and read that chapter. When Samuel came, he tells Jesse to anoint. Listen, man, we're going to do this sacrifice. Come down and sanctify yourselves. And he only comes down with his sons and sanctify themselves. He don't come down with David. Now a prophet comes into your city, you know what I'm saying? People get fearful. People want to know what's going on. Why is this prophet here? And we're going to listen to what this prophet has to say. We're going to listen to what this man of God has to say. You know what I'm saying? Or we're going to kill him. You know what I'm saying? Either way it go, like, but it's going to be something done. We're going to bring alert to whatever's going on with this prophet. And so this prophet says, hey, we're finna make a sacrifice. You want to be down there for that thing. You want to bring your family down. Why did he leave David up there? Why is David up there fighting lions and bears, right? Holding down this flock, watching. Why is he out there by himself? Usually you want to protect your youngest son, especially being of age, especially having other kids, having other siblings, having other, I mean, not siblings, but having other children. Usually you protect that youngest and you keep them close to you. You keep them close to you, just like Jacob wanted to keep Reuben when Joseph was sitting on, you know what I'm saying, sitting in authority over there in Pharaoh's crib. You know, he said, hey, man, bring back Reuben, bring back that youngest one, man. But Jay like, nah, man, y'all already made me lose, Joe. I already lost my youngest one. Y'all finna make me lose, but you lose Reuben. No, man, I can't give y'all this joker. So you keep that youngest one. Usually, you keep that youngest one close. And I'm just giving you another angle and things that you should question. Things like, we can't just be reading the text. We have to look into these things, and eventually, when you keep reading, you keep delving into it. You ask the Most High to keep pouring that spirit on. The text will talk. You'll see the emotions behind the text. It's about learning the spirit behind the law and the reasoning behind certain things, and seeing how we moved in certain situations. So you have to see what is Jesse doing, not letting his youngest come down there to sanctify himself, to see if he's the one to be anointed as king. But we see Jesse did not do that. Now let's look at something interesting here. Psalms 51 and 5. Okay, it says, "Behold," and that's a psalm by David. It says, "Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me." Now it's a whole ideology that has birthed itself from this particular verse, dealing with the sin nature and us all coming into this world in sin. All right, you know what I'm saying? So, but why can't this just be personal? Why can't this be a personal something? Outkast had a song, Babylon, Andre 3000. He was, what he say? He was, I came into this world high as a bird. From secondhand cocaine powder, I know it sounds absurd. I never tooted, but it's in my veins. All right, so a lot of times you're going to write songs. You're going to write songs about your childhood, about, you know what I'm saying, you getting the short end of the stick. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I see this song. That's what I see this song being, is just David expressing that he got the short end of the stick, but also delving into how he was conceived. And we see here that his conception was it was drenched in sin. And how can that be possible? Adultery. Jesse sleeping with somebody else's wife, or sleeping with, or maybe he got a second wife, but if it wouldn't have been sin. So it had to be an adulterous situation. And I'm just giving you things to think about. I'm just giving you things to think about, giving you another angle. And again, you put this thing together if you want to. I know it's a heavy thing. You're like, oh man, what is the brother talking about? You might have missed it, man. Me tripping up on all them names I was trying to read. But ultimately, you just go back and look at these verses and see that these daughters had another mother. You know what I'm saying? That these daughters had another father, Shalakia, Nahash. The daughters of Nahash. And then we see David here saying that he was conceived in sin. All right, and then we see the neglect, we see the disdain that his brothers had for him. Even when he went down there to fight Goliath, when he went down there to hear the news about what's going on, I think his eldest brother said, "What are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? I know your heart. I know you're wicked. Da 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 da. Boo da boo." And they really had a little disdain for him, really almost a little jealousy about, and they let him fight him. Man, I'm not gonna let my little brother fight. I'm not gonna let my little brother fight no giant, man. Almost like they wanted him to die. Almost like they wanted him to die. And we have to understand that the Most High uses the rejected. He uses the rejected. Let's leave this last verse before we go there, though. Psalms chapter 69 and verse 8. It says, "I am become a stranger unto my brethren and an alien unto my mother's children." A stranger to my brethren and an alien unto my mother's children. And even later on, even in that Psalms, he talks about the strangers. Maybe verse 11 or 10 or something like that. Talks about the strangers, saying that he's a byword or a proverb and going into mourning. It could be about something else, but it could be a byword that, they knowing what Jesse did. And they knowing that this, this child was born out of this sin, conceived out of this sin, and being this young, fair, of great continence, and ruddy, standout child. And probably every time they seen him, if he stood out like that and everybody else didn't have that complexion, of course they're gonna be murmuring and speaking about, what transpired to come about this child having this ruddy skin, but also, ultimately being anointed by the Most High. And again, this is just some of them concoctions that the Most High can brew up. Right, the Most High can brew up. Is like one of those perfect situations that can bring forth the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? That can uproot a Messiah. Was, that situation like that, David being rejected and going through that and being hardened by the rejection. All right, being hardened by the rejection. So a lot of times when you're being rejected and you're going through certain things, it's just a hardening, it's just a trial, it's just a wilderness for you to strengthen you. All right, and ultimately, again, that's what the Most High uses, i.e. another example of that. Okay, an example. Solomon, Solomon was conceived in iniquity, conceived in iniquity by that foolishness that was done with David and calling Bathsheba. You got to put that all on David, but out of that birthed, another Messiah, a Savior, a great king, Solomon. And we see that same pattern being used again. So it's not far-fetched. I ain't just pulling this out of nowhere. Use a few precepts to give you this information, and this may be a better angle for you to take instead of flip-flopping on what you want ruddy to actually mean. Is that David might have had a different parent than the rest of his brothers and sisters, and this is what caused him to be hated by both. All right, he being that middle child, being the youngest and that middle child, like this mother that he slept with already have two sisters, right? She already has two daughters. Okay, she already has two daughters. She sleeps with Jesse. Jesse has 6 sons. Sleeps with Jesse. Makes David, right? And then whatever happens to her happens to her. Okay, and the way Israel is, she could have been stoned. Now this is just speculation. Don't take this. I'm just seeing. How Israel operate. Like the Pharisees brung Yahushua, brung that adulterous woman to Yahushua, and then bring the man. It could have been a situation like that also, and and David be born out of that, and then Jesse having to take care of of, you know, saying those daughters also. And that can definitely be talked about in the city. But whatever the case may be, that's definitely not far-fetched. And you know, what I think is a better way to approach that Esau being ruddy and David being ruddy. That, you know what I'm saying, David might have been fair-skinned due to out of wedlock marriage or a second wife. All right, so I hope this was edifying to the body. Again, you know what I'm saying, just write down the precepts and check them out yourself. If it don't resonate with you, don't resonate with your spirit, keep doing what you're doing. If you got any questions or any rebuttals to what was said, put it in the comments. I look forward to hearing it. And again, this ain't a salvation issue. It's just us trying to get, you know what I'm saying, get the best angle, get the best take, trying to make sure this thing is right and exact, proving all things, meaning testing all things, making sure that it's fit, all right, making sure that it endures, making sure that it won't be, you know what I'm saying, something that we change it 6-7 months later or down the line. So, if you have anything, if you come across anything else, do your own research. With that, we're going to say shalom.